here we go. We are live. Hello, everybody. So glad that you are with us today. Today's an exciting day because we're going to be talking with people who have been part of the Jumpstart program and seeing where is their business today. I get this question all the time. Joanne, it's really great that you feature these tutors that are going through your Jumpstart class and they get great results. Some of them get, 10 students in the class, some get 20 students in the class. But does it last? Are there people that they continue to do a great job? And one of the coolest things that I have found is not everybody gets the same results as they go through the program, but they continue to get results way after the program. And so we've got the people that they meet that goal of they get one student during the course, because that's our goal. Let's get everybody to get one student. Like if I could, I set this goal that I'm going to help everybody do the best that I can to be able to get one online tutoring student or a whole lot more. Some people get the whole lot more. Some people get, the one. And there are a couple people, they don't get any. And if they want a refund, they get a refund, because if they've taken all of the actions in the program, they get their money back. So today you're going to actually get to take a look at some of the stories of tutors that have gone through the program and learn about their tutoring business. What does that look like? And what was their experience as well? In addition to that, you guys, we have on next week, we have a free webinar that you'll be able to join. It is called How to Create a Profitable Online Tutoring Business in the 2021-2022 School Year. And the link is inside of the description. I will also put it right inside of here so that you guys have it. It's got Profit 2 at the end that will sign you up for the webinar we have next week. So you'll get to learn lots of great strategies and tools to be able to run your tutoring business. So thank you for joining us, you guys. We've got Robert in the house. We're going to start out with our guy, our resident male in the house. Yes, there are men who are in this business doing it, right, Robert?
Oh, definitely.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about your tutoring business, Robert.
Sure. So I am the king of calculus, newly undisputed. And I mainly tutor algebra through calculus.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Don't you hate it when you want to say something and you just forget?
Yes. And there's nothing there. You have no idea how many times that happens to me, all the time. And I'm like, oh, there's nothing coming out. Huh, isn't that funny? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go back in time, Robert. And I know that right now you've got some of your students that are coming back, and it's really exciting. You've got some great numbers going on into the fall. But take me back before you joined Jumpstart. What was your tutoring business like?
Sure. So when I first started, before I started the Jumpstart program, literally I think a month or two before, I literally just quit my full-time job at AAA as a dispatcher.
Oh, wow.
And I thought to myself, okay, I've been wanting to do this now for a couple years, but I didn't know how to do it. So when I first got started, I just poured money into everything, and I was hoping to get results. And some things did, and some things didn't get me results.
Can you tell us more, what were you pouring your money into?
Mostly websites. What else did I pour money into back then?
And what kind of websites were they? Websites?
So I was working with WordPress because I thought at the time, oh, I know how to use this thing, therefore it will be a good base for a website. However, I realized that eventually it got to the point where things that I needed and that were critical weren't playing nice with each other.
Yep. I had that happen too. In fact, it crashed and I had the white screen of death come at me. And did you experience the same thing that I did? Everybody said, if you're going to create a website, you got to use WordPress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I followed that advice too. They're like, oh, you can have your blog on there. You can have this, you can have that. And you can do all these different things. And it's so cool. And everybody has to have WordPress. And I just found that as a tutor, no, I don't. I don't have to have a complicated system that I feel like I have to take 5 courses in to learn how to use.
Exactly. Why make things harder on yourself when they actually have to be? And it took me a while to learn that lesson when it came to tutoring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did
And
I
so
fail?
were you hiring people to help you then with WordPress?
No.
No, you're just
I
trying
had
to figure it out
taken
on your own.
I had taken a course through my local adult ed about a year or so in the before,
Yeah.
because my dad owns a window cleaning business and I was trying to help him with his website.
Oh, sure.
But so we took the course, and after the course I was like, great, I can use WordPress. And then I realized, oh, Wix is around, let's use that instead.
Yeah. So much easier. It's drag and drop simple for people to be able to figure out. You don't have to know like code. You don't have to know anything. It's got some beautiful layouts for you to be able to choose from. And you can create all of your own pages the way that you want to be able to create them. Yeah. So it's a much, much better tool. I feel like because we don't have to be web designers or know like HTML code in order to create a website for a business. We just have to have the most main points inside of there. So how did you feel like before you joined and you were doing like WordPress and then your apps weren't playing nice together or the plugins weren't playing nice together? How were you feeling?
Honestly, I was feeling overwhelmed and stressed because I didn't know if I was going to get the website off the ground or if I was just going to throw my hands up in the air and give up.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are some of the things that you were saying to yourself?
Um, most mostly going back, going specifically about the website. Why can't I get this to work? What am I
Yeah.
doing wrong? And then going back to the overall tutoring. When I first got started, I kept on saying to myself, a student will come eventually.
Mhm.
People will just come to my website
Mm.
and ask for tutoring.
Build it and they will come, right?
Yes.
Yes, we've all heard that phrase. Build it. I just put the website out there, and then people are going to find it. And what did you find? What did you learn?
That couldn't be any further from the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we have to direct people to our website. It's like a store. If I don't give people directions, they can't get there, right?
Right.
So it's not like I type something in and I just find, oh, Robert's a calculus tutor. I mean, do you know how many calculus tutors are out there? A whole bunch of other ones are going to come up before Robert does, right? Unless you know SEO, which is search engine optimization. We all are.
Out to this day.
There is nobody who can ever graduate. I think like once you start the SEO train and you start learning about SEO, you can't stop learning about it because it's free organic traffic. Like you have to stay on top of what's working, what's not working. Can it get complicated? Yes, but there's also some simplicity to it as well. Like understanding like just how it works can actually make your life a lot easier so that people can actually find your website. And that accidental thing that we thought was going to happen in the beginning can actually start to happen.
Right.
It's planned accidents.
Oh, yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, I didn't realize how much work went into that.
Yeah.
But it's well worth it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you end up finding out about the Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass?
So I'm looking at my books and seeing what I spent some money on before I started the Jumpstart program, and I saw that you were offering an offer where if we signed up for a lifetime membership to the Insider Secrets Club, we would get free admittance into the Jumpstart program. And I said I might give this a try because I had been following you for a few months before, and I thought, okay, let's give this a go.
Yeah.
So I took advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lifetime member, which I definitely recommend to anyone who is considering the Insider Secrets Club.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What's been helpful for you being an Insider Secrets Club member?
Where do I begin? I mean, the weekly question and answer calls are awesome. The weekly mastermind calls are amazing. Just those two things alone have made the Insider Secrets Club pay itself many times over.
Aw, that's awesome.
Never mind access to the trainings before they come out.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually have a lot of fun putting those trainings together. I create the trainings, my daughter edits them, and then she like puts them on into the system, and she's just getting better and better at her skills, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've been able to come up with a process for listening for what people need and then creating it based off of what they're saying that they need. So we're actually going to be revisiting our website in the upcoming month and taking it to the next level. So I'm super excited about that and can't wait for you guys to, those of you guys that are Insider Secret Club members, to come on in and join us and see what else can I do with my website. Because a lot of times we do our website, and if we're not blogging or creating some kind of content, we kind of let it just kind of sit there and, again, kind of hope that it's going to do its job, right? Yep. But it's got to be that concept. We got to be creating content and doing stuff to make it continue to work. That's awesome. So then when you went through Jumpstart, how many students did you end up getting as you went through Jumpstart?
I only got one student.
That was the goal. That was the goal.
And it took me, it literally took me the entire course to get one student.
Mm-hmm. And then what happened after the course?
And then my business just exploded after that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, like, it's that breakthrough moment, right? All it takes is to be able to get that one sometimes, so that we can start, like, then we're like, oh, this really works. And we get energized and motivated again. And we keep going at it. We keep doing it. And we keep going after and getting those students. And now you're at that point where you're sitting in a very pretty spot for fall. You've got students that are returning because they were so happy with the experience that they have. How do you feel about that accomplishment?
Honestly, I'm speechless. I can't believe I'm back. I'm this close to getting fully booked.
That is amazing. And it's all with it. When did you start your business?
A year ago, July 4th.
Wow. That's so cool that, in just 1 year, you're able to have a profitable business that is at a point where you're almost fully booked. That is a huge accomplishment. Did you guys know that there's a huge percentage of businesses that go under in their first 3 years? And some businesses don't even make a profit until 3 years. So these are amazing results, you guys. That's really, really awesome. So now, what do you feel is possible for you now?
Well, now, I guess, first off, my cat's decided he wants to join us today. So that's fun. Second, I know my next plan is to start trying to make money without actually doing work. One way I plan on doing that is by selling merchandise.
Uh-huh.
So that's one thing I'm looking at right now. I also tried offering a course this summer. It didn't quite work out, but at least now I know what I did wrong and I can go back to the drawing board.
That's what the course creation is that's what course creation is all about. It's very rare that your very first, course that you create, you nail it out of the park. There is an entire process, and don't ever give up. If that's a place that you want to go, keep going, keep doing it, because the more that you do it, the better that you get and the more that you learn. You start thinking, okay, like, I have to market my course, right? Like, it's really easy to create a course. It's not so easy to sell the course, because you have to have, like, that live component where you are launching it for people to join you, and then have it go through. A lot of people think, I'm going to create a course that's going to sit on my website and people are going to click on it and buy it. Well, that's kind of like your tutoring services, right? That doesn't work with your tutoring services. It's not going to work with your courses either, and it's going to be even less with your courses. So yeah, there's this whole piece, and if you continue to learn about that, and you're coming to the conference in September, we're going to an amazing summit in September with one of my absolute favorite speakers of all time, Russell Brunson, and Tony Robbins is going to be there, and Robert is coming, and it's called Funnel Hacking Live. So we are super excited to be able to go to that event and be able to learn more about how can I create these successful funnels so that I can sell not only my services, but also then courses and all that kind of stuff too. So cool.
Oh, definitely. Plus, it'll be a good opportunity to get even more students potentially, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The things that you're going to learn are just going to be outstanding, and you're going to be so excited that you attended. And I think the energy is just going to be just off the charts.
I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
It really is. So if you could go back in time before Jumpstart, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't use WordPress.
Good advice.
The other piece of advice I would give myself is to just be patient.
Hmm. Yeah. If you're consistent, patience works. If you're patient but you don't have any consistency, then it doesn't work, right? So
Right.
it is that consistency that continues. Like you keep coming back to these calls, like every time there's a call, I see you like inside of there. So if you guys hear me talking about Robert, our calculus king, there he is. Now you get to see what he looks like. So I think that is, you keep coming back, you keep being consistent, you keep learning, you keep growing, and those are the things that are going to continue to make you even more successful than you already are right now. This is just the beginning for you, Robert, and I'm really excited for where you're going to go to be able to take your business. Fantastic. You guys, we've got Malia Sebastian in the house. Malia has been a part of our, I don't even remember the very first time I ran into Malia. Malia is an online elementary math tutor, and we have been in connection, I feel like forever.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. It was even before I decided to go ahead with my tutoring. I was interested in tutoring, and I didn't know how to become a tutor, and I found you. But just with moves and having to work and stuff, I just wasn't quite ready to take that plunge. So yeah, I've been around for a while.
I know you've been a member of the Ultimate Support Group for a really long, and we're talking years upon years. You've been a member. Yeah. Do you remember like how many members were even inside of that group when you first joined?
I don't remember.
And no, it wasn't as big as it is today.
Near what it is now. I mean, it was.
I feel like it was probably like in the hundreds or something versus the thousands. We're almost at 10,000 in our Ultimate Support Group. Woo! So if you guys haven't joined the Ultimate Support Group for online tutors on Facebook, join it. It's a free community where all of us tutors, we get together, we chat, we connect, we ask questions. You know, it's a wonderful place for people to support each other and build their business. So you've been a part of that for a really long time, and you were one of those people. I remember every time like Jumpstart kind of came around, you're like, do I do it or do I not do it? Do I do it or do I not do it? I don't know. What finally convinced you to do it?
Well, I knew that I was the person, and I'm always embarrassed by this because I think that I'm the only person like this.
No.
But I'm the person who I need my hand held through things. Like, don't just say, hey, this is what you do, and then you can take off. And some people are like that. You just give them a few ideas and they can run with it. And not me. I'm like, well, what about this? And what about this? And which one do I do first? And is that actually, I mean, I just have too many questions. And I end up shooting myself in the foot sometimes. And so I was like, look, she says this is a step-by-step thing, you know, basically holding your hand through it. I was like, that's just what I need. I finally accepted that that's what I needed.
Yes. And then you ended up doing, so before you joined the program, where were you at in your business?
So I had a few clients. I decided to start tutoring when we moved here to Alaska. So everything was new. I had just, so I was new to the church we went to. And so people were like, oh, what do you do? And right off the bat, I was like, I'm a professional tutor, even though I didn't have anybody. And that's where my first few clients came from. And one of them has actually been with me from the beginning. They're still with me. So it's been really awesome. But it was very few people, hit and miss. I didn't know how else to get students. I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the toughest part. It's like you're a great teacher, you know you're a great teacher, but you don't know how to get students, right? There's that process, and there's these students all over the world that you could be helping, but you don't know how to access them. And you know, some of us were okay with trying to be able to find some students in our zip code and being able to do that, but then you know now it's opened up to a whole new level where we have access to so much. And Beth had reminded me that there is we do a lot of hand holding, that this is why Jumpstart was created. Because we just had, before Jumpstart, I mean, you guys a little history lesson here. We started with our Insider Secrets Club. And the Insider Secrets Club was just all tutors kind of coming together, learning how to get better at, being able to market their students, market their services to be able to get students. And what we found happening is a new person would come on in and join, and they would join the question answer club, and people would ask questions that were like up here, right? They had already been through a lot of some of the courses we have gone through, but they were up here. And then a new person coming on in was like beginning level. I don't know anything. And you said the word SEO. I don't even know what SEO is. Like, what? WordPress? I don't even know what WordPress is. And they were so lost in the conversation, like, this isn't working. There's something has to happen. So there was a split. And so we split the Jumpstart program from the Insider Secrets Club so that we could do a lot more handholding with a group of people that wanted to be able to take their tutoring business to the next level, whether it be get new students or, begin to be able to take their business to the next level. And it would give you like all the marketing skills you needed to know, like right out of the gate, so that when you decided you wanted some additional help, you could join the Insider Secrets Club. You had that information and you didn't feel lost.
Yes, and I was one of those people because I was in the Insider Secrets Club before you started Jumpstart, and yeah, I felt lost, and I didn't know what to focus on. So.
Right, because it feels like everybody's like throwing you in a different direction, right? Somebody's working on blogging, so they say that blogging is the best, or somebody's doing podcasting, they say podcasting is the best. Somebody's doing videos, they're saying videos are the best. And you're like, well, which one really is the best? And really, it isn't that one is the best over the others. It comes down to, where are your strengths to begin with, and what do you feel comfortable jumping into next? And I think a lot of people get so torn and like, there's so many things, and they get overwhelmed. And I don't know about you, but when I get overwhelmed, I stop.
Yeah.
Dead in my tracks. I stop. I shut down. I do that even with my email. Sometimes I get like really overwhelmed with my email box, and I like be going through, and I realize that I have to comment on this one. And I'm like, I'll do it later. And I start it, and then I walk away from my email. That's my way of quitting. And so like people were doing this with their tutoring businesses. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not supporting people if that's how they're feeling. So that's why. And Lena even said, I'm so glad to hear that there's hand holding, because I'm totally an overthinker and have a million questions. So yes, Lena, you are in the right place. We are here to really guide you through this process. Our goal isn't to be able to make money off of you. Okay. Yes, any business, it's going to happen, right? If you've got a good business. But my goal is truly that this is going to be profitable for you, that you're going to make more money because of the information that you've learned versus it costing you a ton of money. And I think that's an important distinction I try to make with people. So you had already felt overwhelmed as you got to this point before Jumpstart program. What were some of your goals and motivations right before you joined Jumpstart?
Well, for me, one of my big goals is that I didn't want to go into debt with my tutoring business, and I didn't want my tutoring business to take money out of the family funds. Like, it needed to be self-sufficient from the beginning, which was really difficult with not having many students. So that was a stressor. But also, one of the reasons that I kept working on my tutoring business and wanted to do the Jumpstart is because I was sick and tired of doing jobs. Like, my husband and I, we move around every 2 to 3 years. And so I got to find another job, quit the job, find another job, quit the job. And I have social anxiety. So over the years, that just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where now when I go on to look for a job, because I didn't know if I was going to reach my goal of 8 hours a week by October 1st, I said, well, I better just start looking around just in case. Just as a side job. I wasn't going to quit tutoring, just as a side income thing. And I still my stomach would just tighten. So I was like, okay, this is something I can handle. This is something that doesn't have to change every time I move. And so those two things kept pushing me forward, and is one of the many reasons why I decided to join Jumpstart, because I realized that I wasn't able to figure it out on my own.
And you know what? That
And
feeling that you got, that feeling that you got was your body already knowing what you needed to do. That's what your body gives you cues as to like what's going to be a right fit for you. I got messed up into a network marketing business right after my first teaching, right after I finished teaching and left the school system. And I had that feeling constantly, that wrenching feeling in my gut that this is not what I want to be doing. I don't enjoy this. And I kept having to like discover for myself, well, what is it that I'd enjoy? And the next year I finally came up with, you know what if I started my own online tutoring business? And it's like all of a sudden, like I didn't have that gut wrenching kind of feeling. So I think our body's giving us clues. The universe is giving us clues. And it's amazing that our bodies just know what it is that we need. I'm so excited for you. So you now, you've already beat your goal. Like you've reached your goal that you had set for yourself for October 1st of having 8 students.
Yes, not 8 students, but 8 hours.
8 hours.
We have 4 students.
Nice. And they're 2 hours each. Nice.
Yeah, so it's really great. I was so excited. In fact, I was so excited when I reached that last hour and I had the full 8. I was so excited I couldn't even focus on anything. Because to me it was like a miracle. I kept pushing for it, but I wasn't quite sure. You know, I still had some doubt. I just wasn't quite sure, but I was like, I just got to make this work. I got to do it. And whenever I wanted to give up, I thought about the alternatives and I go, maybe I'll try something a little different. Let me try this instead before I give up. And the Jumpstart, I just kept going back to the Jumpstart whenever that happened.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. Like when you guys tell me like what your success stories are, that you're continuing to get students, that you're continuing to, make this happen. I get excited for those students that get to work with you, and I get excited for you in your business. This is what drives me to keep doing what I do, because I get just as excited, I think, sometimes as you do. So what is something that you learned from Jumpstart that was a big game changer for you? A key takeaway?
I don't think it was taught specifically, directly in Jumpstart, but by going through Jumpstart and doing it again and again, what helped me to learn was focus on one thing at a time before I go to the next thing, instead of trying to do everything all at once, and take my time with it. It's okay. If somebody can do something in a week, great. But if it takes me a month, who cares?
Right.
Not that big of a deal,
Right.
So just by going through the course and going back and watching the videos again and stuff, that really helps solidify that for me.
I agree. It's like the turtle and the hare, right? The turtle wins the race at the end of the day. Right. This isn't a speed competition. There are some people, they have some motivations in their life that force them, like life or death situations, to really go at this as hard as they possibly can in the beginning and keep it and sustain it. Right. And that's fine. But not all of us have those situations. Some of us are stay-at-home moms like I was. And, it wasn't like if I don't have 10 students, it's going to be the end of me. I wanted to replace my income, but and it took me a couple of years to replace my income, but it happened, and now it's exceeded the income. Now it's quadrupled the income, and better things just keep happening. So yeah, I definitely agree that it's not about how quick. You do learn a lot of strategies in the Jumpstart program. that will take you pretty far very quickly. However, it's too hard sometimes for some people to take them all in and do all of them, right? And you just need to focus on taking action. Keep taking action. If you keep taking action and you continue to be successful, you're going to have success. So now, how do you feel now that you've already reached your goal for your 8 hours?
I'm so excited. I'm excited to get more hours. Because I chose 8 because I was like, oh, I don't know if I can handle more, and I'm not even sure I can do 8. Let's just wait for 8. And now I have 8. I'm like, I could do this, And so I'm excited to get more. I'm gonna. I mean, I'm still gonna put my name out there, but there's some other things I want to focus on first, like getting my website fully up and running and things like that. So I'm working more on those long-term strategies now. And so there's just a few of those I want to get up before I really make the next goal of 16 hours a week.
I love it.
I'm very excited for it.
And that's the whole thing. Like once you reach a goal, now what's your next goal? Like don't stop there, right? Like what's possible now? I think that's great that you now have a next goal of what you're gonna kind of go towards. That's amazing. There's with the Olympics going on right now, there is a commercial out there by Toyota, and at the end of the commercial, one of the people on there says, "You don't have to be amazing to start, but you have to start to be amazing." So my daughter and I, we looked up who is that from. It's from Zig Ziglar, who's like one of the biggest like professional things. He says good. He used the word good, but they changed it to amazing. You don't have to be good to start, but you have to start to be good. And I like the amazing actually a little bit better, or awesome, or whatever, right? A lot of people think like, oh my gosh, I have to know everything right out of the gate. No, you don't. You just need to get started. And I promise you the other pieces are going to fall into place. So congratulations, both of you, and exactly where you're at today, because I'm really excited where you're going to be going with your businesses. We've got Adelle Southall here. Adelle just recently left her teaching job and went full time with her business, and has been getting some great success out of the gates with her. You do reading tutoring, correct, Adelle?
Yeah. Elementary reading, K through 6.
Yes. Were you working with ESL students when you were in the school system?
Yeah, I did both. So I started in 5th grade as a classroom teacher for math, which was not my thing. And then I moved to 3rd grade ELA, and then I went back to 2nd grade math. I figured I could handle that, and I could.
Oh, good.
But then even after that, I still felt like this isn't the place where I'm supposed to be. So I moved to ESL. I did that for 5 years. And then in February of this year, I resigned for a plethora of reasons. One, just I needed a mental health break for sure. Mm-hmm. And 2, I just like really disagreed with a lot of things that my system was doing. And I just couldn't put myself in the position anymore where I had to support things that I completely disagreed with.
Yeah.
So I just had to quit. And it's been the best thing ever. So the day after I posted that I quit, I posted on my personal Facebook page that I quit, but I have this tutoring business and these are my plans. The day after, I got 4 students from friends who were homeschoolers. So just putting myself out there is not the easiest thing, but that's what you got to do.
Yes. Yeah, there is a fear that comes with making a post like that, isn't there?
Yes.
What were some of the things that you were thinking?
Just, quitting teaching is not, and moving and career changing in teaching. Most people change careers to teaching. Most people don't change careers out of teaching. It's just kind of a taboo thing within the career field. So part of me was thinking like, well, nobody else is doing this. I'm excellent at what I do. I knew I could do it, and I was good at what I do. I'm great with connecting with kids, but I just couldn't keep up with the system. So yeah, it was tricky. I think the harder part was not putting myself out there, but just like making sure I didn't feel shame in doing something that was right for me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because We do feel like that. Like, did you almost feel like because you were going from teaching to tutoring that it was almost like a lesser than kind of career choice?
I think so, maybe at first, because most of the teacher tutors that I know did it as a side hustle, and then some people I even talk to, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a tutor," but it's it's just a different thing, you know. So I think sometimes it wasn't me thinking that I was a lesser thing, but was hearing other people say that and think, well, I'm doing more now than I was before.
Right.
Making a much bigger impact than I was before.
Yes, that isn't that the truth. I feel like I'm actually able to help kids today.
Yes.
Whereas in the classroom, the way that our school system is designed, it's really meant while you try to engage the kids with, you try to put them in groups. I was just telling my own kids this the other day, explaining my teaching experience. I'm like, so I came out of college and they said you have to put these kids into groups. They never did that to us in college, so we didn't really get to see what that looked like. But that's what we were told when we got into the school system, that's kind of what you do. So I did it. Nobody told me the dang kids were going to be kicking each other underneath the tables.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't prepare me for that part. And then you got kid over here crying, you got another kid over here screaming, you got another kid over here like crawling around on the floor. How in the world do you teach?
Somebody walks in to observe your lesson.
Right. I'm like, oh my gosh, like classroom management, while I got good at it, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy having to be a mean teacher all of the time. And that's kind of what it took. Like I had to have like this stamina in place. I wanted to be the nice teacher that like everybody loved and and then
the joy of being an ESL teacher too, because instead of being like the mommy teacher where I had my class and these were my little kitties, I felt like the auntie teacher because I get to take them and then push them back in.
Yes. I kind of like that. That's what it's kind of like that with the tutoring that we do today. Like you get to spend a little bit of time with them and then off they go, you get them in little chunks of time versus long periods of time when you get to see some of their behaviors begin to root themselves. And one-on-one is amazing compared to the classroom instruction.
I can change my instruction on a dime. If the kid's not paying attention, I can reel them back in by just changing activities. You can't do that when you have even a small group of children. When you have one-on-one, you can say, oh, this is not working. Let's just do this.
Yeah. We had somebody who just said, oh, I can't stand that just a tutor thing. And I think, you know what? I said something the other day to my mother-in-law. I said something about, the brain is so pliable when the kids are little. I love when I get my kiddos at like first and second grade, even if they have dyslexia, because I'm able to retrain their brain to be able to have the processes that they need in order to be successful with reading. And she's like, wait a minute. You can change a kid's brain? And I was like, yeah, isn't that cool? She's like, wow, I had no idea. Yeah. Like they really don't understand the work that we're doing. Like, yes, I am changing the neural pathways inside of their brain so they can literally be successful with reading. And, it totally, I think, changed her perspective about what it is that I do, that I'm not just like this cute little reading tutor. Come on, kids, let's go. It's story time. It is very scientific. It is, as one of my favorite, I think it was Louisa Moats who said, teaching reading is rocket science.
We don't have rocket scientists without teaching reading.
You don't even have that, right? No. But there is a lot of science that goes into what it is that we do and having the best teaching practices in order to get the results that we get. It's not just a matter of just showing somebody and then they just automatically get it. It's knowing how kids learn. It's knowing, what strategy is the right strategy to use at this moment. It's how do you get the kids to think for themselves versus always relying on somebody else to do it for them because they get that learned helplessness, right? And somebody else is always going to do it for me. And we're really creating these individuals that are just incredible beings that can think for themselves and be able to get success on their own and transitioning them into that. And that is no small task, my friends. This is big work. I love it. So before you joined Jumpstart, you were still working in the classroom while you were going through Jumpstart. So tell us about that experience. I know that you're like, I don't necessarily want to get students right now because I'm still in the classroom. Tell us about that.
So Actually, August of last year is when I started bringing on students. I had my first student like the first week of August. So I'm coming on a year of having a business. And
Yay.
I knew that I needed some guidance on how to make this grow. I knew I wasn't going to be able to just have one student. So I got another student in September, and I realized I needed like some support, something to like help me show. And I'm just like you, Malia, that I need to have someone hold my hand. I need to have somebody tell me I'm doing okay. I'm usually doing the right thing, but I just require a lot of affirmation. And so I joined Jumpstart, and I treated it like a grad school class. As teachers, they do grad school classes all the time, and you have to do them while you're teaching. So I treated it like grad school. I set apart time in my schedule that I'm going to read this page in the book, and I'm going to do this activity for the assignments, because Jumpstart is a lot of work. But if you break it up, like we know how to do, you can get it done. So I broke it up, and I tried my best to get Tutor Star of the Week as much as I could, just by finishing all the tasks. The checklists helped a lot. And my goal really was only to get one more student. And so the week we started Jumpstart, I got a student.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then by the end of Jumpstart, I had 3 students. And then I was just looking at my numbers. I've taught 21 students so far, and I currently have 14 who are coming with me into the fall as well. So just in 1 year, it's been an amazing ride.
Oh my God. So this is where I get jealous. When you're one of the first people to do something, you don't have people that you can follow. So a lot of the stuff I had to do the hard way. I had to I had to make all these mistakes. There was a lot of head banging involved, guys. I was like, I wanted to take my head and bang it against a wall when things didn't work, or when my WordPress site broke down, and all those kinds of things. And then I hear you guys, you're like, yep, I followed the step-by-step process, and I was able to get book solid practically. And I'm like, oh, it actually makes everything worth it.
In YouTube University, trying to find different people to teach me different things, and I quickly realized that this is going to waste a lot of my time, that I'm not going to be able to find what I need to find. I'll find it eventually, but it's going to take a lot of learning curve to find the right people to watch the videos, find the right things to do. So I think it happened upon your Facebook group maybe, and then maybe some of the YouTube videos. And I saw people keep mentioning Jumpstart in the group. So I actually I didn't spend a dime of my tutoring money from the first 2 students, and they paid for my Jumpstart. And then I saved up from those students, and then did the reading interventionist, which I continue to show up for. This is my 3rd round.
Yes.
Because I just feel like I need to constantly pour into myself. 1, because again, I need affirmation all the time. And 2, I just need to be reminded of these are the steps. I guess miss that sometimes from the classroom when you're around the other teachers and you're talking to everybody. That's my community.
Yeah, and a lot of people will say too, tutoring online can be, a lonely business, but as we connect online together, we learn together, we grow together, we network with each other, it makes it a lot less lonely as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So did you try, you had gotten one student, you said right before Jumpstart. How did you get that student?
So I kind of pilfered him. I did summer tutoring through my school system, and he happened to not be a student at my immediate school. And his mom was talking to me about how she wanted him to continue, and they said, oh, well, I'm starting to tutor students. I'll take him. So I started with him. And then I told a couple teachers in my school that I was starting to tutor, and they knew that was something that I was becoming interested in. So another coworker had a student who she was tutoring 4th grade, but wanted nothing to do with 1st or 2nd grade. So she sent me her little younger brother, and it just built from there. Really word of mouth, next door, tutors.com, and doing all the things that you told us to do.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And there's definitely right ways to do things and wrong ways to do things. So I'm glad that you tapped on in so you could find out the right way to do it instead of having to learn from the mistakes. And oh my gosh, you guys, one time I got kicked off of Facebook. I had to create a whole new Facebook account. I mean, if there's something that could go wrong, I totally had it happen. And so as you went through Jumpstart and it had the step-by-step processes for you. Were there any big game-changing takeaways for you from that program?
I think the biggest thing was I learned actually how to set up my back office for the business. Like, I had no idea how to make a website. I had no idea how to, even what to record or what to do to run a tutoring business. I just knew that I knew how to teach children, and I didn't know any of the other things with it. So it kind of gave me more confidence to say these are the step-by-step things that you can do to get your business a foundation.
Yeah. And that's why people were able to take advantage of us for so long. Companies, I won't mention any names, but companies were able to charge $50 an hour for tutoring services and pay the tutor $10 to $15 an hour because we didn't know how to run our tutoring business. So they were able to kind of rent us out in a way, right? And it kind of felt like slavery. When I first saw that, I was like, oh no. If you're able to sell my tutoring services for $50 an hour, surely I can sell my tutoring services for $50 an hour, right? The rest of the stuff I can figure out and learn. I got this. And then again, I learned, the wrong way to take payments, and I learned the right way to do payments, and all that kind of stuff took time. But I think it's really, really cool that you were able to kind of see that. I love that you kind of joined like that YouTube University. I think a lot of people join YouTube University right out of the gate to try to learn as much as they possibly can until the overwhelm sets in, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't even tap.
You don't even know what you don't know.
That's the thing, right? And if somebody else has already taken that path and walked people through successfully, surely that's got to be a better system.
I think that's one of the best things that I've done with my business so far is just really investing in people who already know the next thing I want to learn and paying them the money to teach me, just like students pay me the money to learn what they need to learn.
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the same. I'm in a course right now that I've invested a lot of money in to be a part of because I know that person knows more than me and knows things about taking their business to the next level that I don't know yet because I've never experienced. I can't bring myself to the next level. If I could, I would have already done it, right? And I think that's important for us to know at any stage of the game. So now that you've got so many students for your tutoring business, how do you feel?
Definitely. I feel like I'm actually doing this, which is bizarre. Like, never have I ever said I would want my own business. I always wanted somebody to I'm always a follower. I like to follow people. I like to listen to what they're doing. And I'm a great supporter and a great cheerleader, but never thought I would be the one that would be in charge. And so I'm pretty proud of myself. I never really take time to sit back and think about it, but if I do, I can't believe I did it.
Yeah. And look, your shirt says it all. I am smart. I am strong. I am loved. Oh my gosh, I love that. You are. You're smart. You're strong. You're loved. You are an amazing person. You're doing great jobs with your tutoring business, and your students are blessed to have you in their lives. I think that's absolutely amazing. If you could go back and give yourself advice, what advice would you give yourself?
I think just don't stress about so many things. I put myself in the overload, just like other people had said, overwhelmed, and I'm done. Like, I get overwhelmed easily. So just taking things one at a time would be it. And I'm grateful that I didn't quit my job right away. I talked with Audrey a couple of times because we're both Baltimore girls. And so just hearing, I know she quit her teaching job, so I wanted to hear her story, and I was ready to quit back in like September, but that would have been silly because of only having 2 students. Then I would have had more pressure on myself. Like, waiting until it was the right time was the right thing to do because I can pay my part of our bills. I don't have to pull from other sources. This is sustaining us. So.
Yeah, and I heard a couple of people right before you guys all missed this, but right before, Malia was saying that she's a big Dave Ramsey fan, and lots of you guys were like kind of like shaking your head, like yes. Like, Dave Ramsey is the king of how to manage your money better, and has some fantastic advice out there on being able to do that. Were you also a Dave Ramsey follower, Adelle?
Yeah, I've heard of his things. I've taken his courses. I'm still terrible at managing money. But I knew enough to know that I didn't want to start my business in debt, and everything I was going to do with it was going to pay for itself, which is also why I knew I couldn't quit my job, because even though I made a good amount of money in 2020, I probably only profited maybe $100, because it takes money to make money. You have to keep putting it back in until you're ready to like withdraw from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also knowing that I'm not good with money, I was very bad at paying myself even the first several months of this whole thing. I didn't like take any money out for any reason. I don't know, I guess the scarcity, having had 21 students and I have 14 now, students come and go and you never know when they're going to come or go. So it always made me nervous too. But now I know as soon as one leaves, within a couple weeks or so, another one's coming in, and it's just time to move on. So
exactly, and that is exciting to have a door of children going and coming, right? It's exciting because students are reaching their goals. It's exciting because new people need your help, and it's always fun to get to know the new kids. Sometimes if kids stay too long, they start to feel a little stale.
I still have to see her.
But other times it can be a really exciting thing. Like I've been seeing one family for the last 8 years and been working with them. And I've worked with every kid in their family. And now I'm working with the youngest one. We've been working together for 4 years. And it isn't even because of he's behind in his studies. It's because Dad realizes where I can take him. And so he wants to continue to have me work with him so that I can take him even further. Because the kid said, I only learn from Joanne. I don't really learn from school. And Dad's like, well, that's a problem. I need to start investing more in Joanne than school. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences. JPEZ says that she absolutely loves your office, Adelle. She says it's awesome.
All my classroom decorations repurposed.
I love it. And you guys, if you haven't had a chance to join us for how to create a profitable online tutoring business, definitely sign on up. The link is inside of the chat. I'm going to put it back on inside of there for you guys. But that link right there will get you in to be able to see how do you create a profitable online tutoring business in the 2021-2022 school year. Let's do this, you guys. This is awesome. We're going to keep growing our businesses, getting more students, making more money, and impacting more students' lives. Thanks, you guys, for joining us, and we will see all of you guys soon.